Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Judge Dave Larson. We're here for our first community court graduation. About a year ago, December 11th of last year, we had a forum in this very room on the crisis with addiction and untreated mental illness in our community. And in March, with the cooperation of the prosecutor's office and the public defender and Judge Robertson in our court, we created the community court, which started in March. The thing that was so joyful during that time is that we had more volunteers than we could use. And we've narrowed down some of the volunteers used over the last 9 months, and we'll be recognizing them today. But I'll let the lawyers and the other people talk about community court, but I think the thing that was most surprising for me is the impact it had on me, and I know the impact it had on the lawyers also, not just on the folks we served. So I think that is something that's very powerful and something that can be a long-lasting asset for our community. And so what I'm going to do first is introduce the folks up here that are going to honor our graduates. And we have Judge Robertson, my benchmate, Karama Hawkins from the Public Defender's Office, Jennifer Castleton, the Chief Prosecutor, Deputy Mayor Susan Honda, Ron Nowicki from Lake Haven, Bill Gates from South King Fire, the president of the commission, Bill Fuller from South King Fire, Mark Thompson from South King Fire, Lydia Sefa Dawson, city council member, Chief Andy Wong from the police department, and Deputy Chief Kyle Sumter. And so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer Castleton to make a few remarks. And then Ms. Hawkins will speak, and then we'll get into the rest of the program. So, Ms. Castleton.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll keep this brief. I've spent most of my 19 years as a lawyer, as a prosecutor, and to be frank, that can lead to some degree of cynicism, generally, based on a lot of the things that I've seen and experienced and witnessed over that time. What has happened through community court that I've really appreciated is that it has challenged that. And in particular, Ms. Gallagher has challenged that and the other people who have been successful. It is very uplifting to see people who are facing challenges and who have not always come from the best place, come in, face a challenge head on, own it if they've done something wrong and move forward from it. And that's what we're starting to see with people being successful, with having this additional support and community involvement. I think the mentors are an incredible part of it, treatment providers being a part of it, all of us working together, all of us seeing each other weekly and watching this progression. I have really come to believe strongly, not only in the court, but also to believe in the people who are coming through it. It is it's challenged me to look at everything a little bit differently, and I believe so strongly in Ms. Gallagher, who's here today, and in her ability to successfully navigate the challenges that she's going to continue to face. And that's what I think community court is doing, is that it's providing an additional, it's letting people understand how much they actually have in them to do it. Because at the end of the day, we aren't actually doing anything. We're there and being supportive, but every challenge that they face is one that they have to deal with. And so seeing people develop those skills and move forward positively is incredibly uplifting. I would tell members of the community to come and watch it, because there are some really good days in community court. Not all of them are. Some of them are really challenging, but people being upfront about what they've got going on and learning the skills to work through them positively, and to know that when they face challenges down the road, they're going to have the tools to look at it the right way instead of falling back down into a negative pattern, it's a good place to be. So I think thanks for the community support for sure. It's been a joy to work with everybody together. It's been a particular joy to watch Ms. Gallagher over the last 9 months as she's gone through this, and her daughter, who's also quite inspirational and lovely. So thank you to everybody. I wish you guys the best. The only thing that makes me sad is I would like to see you every single week. It would be great if you came every single time that we had community court. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Castleton. Now we're Now we're going to hear from Ms. Hawkins. Ms. Hawkins is kind of the conduit for the court and for the system and for the defendant. She's the one that is the advocate for the person going through the changes, and I think she's got some very excellent things to say about what she's experienced. So, Ms. Hawkins.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I want to thank everybody who's here today. When we first started talking about this as a community, when we brought it to the members of the community back in December of last year, it was such an overwhelming feeling to even be able to have this be a discussion where it was possible to look at justice from a truly restorative perspective, from the people who are in the community, from the people who are involved in the court system itself, and to humanize these people that are going through the system and look at their issues as real issues that touch people, anybody in this room, and in a way that's not hidden, right? And one of the things that we talked about is how the issues that bring people into our court are issues that everybody struggles with in some way, shape, or form, whether it be themselves or through people that they know and love and want to have some better way of dealing with it. It has been an honor to represent the people who have had the wherewithal and the bravery to participate in community court, because there is a requirement of openness that is kind of foreign to the criminal justice system in general. You have to be open and honest about what your failings are, what your shortcomings are, what your mistakes are, and what you're going to do to address those. And the graduates here today, which consists of Ms. Gallagher, who was one of our first entrants into community court, has really not just challenged me and everybody in the system, but has given us hope, where we know that if we can treat individuals with compassion and respect and humility, that they will be able to do the things that we want them to do in order to be successful through the criminal justice system. So it's not about criminal justice, it's about community healing. And that is something that we can all contribute. So Heather, Janie, I thank you for entrusting me with the opportunity to help you through this process. I wish our other graduate was here, Heather Fullerton. She's another individual who had gone through very substantial roadblocks and addiction in her life, and she was able to come through it stronger than she's been in a really long time. So, Ms. Fullerton, I know that you're not here. I hope you're watching this, and I hope that you're out there. You have my undying respect, you have my gratitude, and you have my unbounded hope for the best future that you could possibly have. I also wanted to, there was another individual who I was hoping would be here, Brighty Clevenger. She's not quite ready. She is an individual who does not recognize how well she's doing, and I wanted to show her that I recognize her milestone, and that people involved in the court recognize the changes that she's been able to make, and that we're going to continue to make those steps with her. So I thank you, members of the community. I thank you, devoted mentors who are there week in and week out. I thank you, Valley Cities, and all of the healthcare providers that have stuck with our clients and worked with schedules and flightiness and trying to get insurance and all of the things that it takes to get someone into treatment and get them well and stable and a strong foundation. I want to thank my judges, my court, because without their willingness to go out on a limb and make this happen, none of us would be here. I want to thank you, lovely Maggie, for your devoted support of our clients and making sure that this process runs smoothly for everybody. and all members of the community, whether you are someone who has been impacted by perhaps the actions of people that are going through community court, this is an example of what we can do if we look at this differently. So please, I encourage anybody who's watching and everybody who's here to continue to work with us, invest with us, and help us change this community. We can fight this in a positive way. We can fight this in a way that's going to make change for the future. And I'm just so grateful that you all are here. Thank you.
So what we want to do at this point, and Judge Robertson, why don't you join me, we're going to recognize some of the volunteers. And there's a poem that I've recited several times in the past. It's my favorite poems, but Lou Holtz is where it came from. And it's, I saw some people in my hometown, and I saw some people tearing a building down with a heave and a hoe and a mighty yell. They swung a beam and the sidewall fell. I asked the foreman, are these people skilled, the type of people you want to build? The foreman answered, no, indeed. Common labor is all I need, for I can tear down in a day or two what it took a builder years to do. As I slowly walked away, I asked myself, what role will I play? Will I be the type that goes around foolishly tearing down? Or will I be the type that builds with care and hope that others will be glad I was there? And so what I've invented, and Judge Robertson and I have signed and invented, is the Builders Award. And so what I'd like to do, and when you come up, and then just line up here, Janet Chance. Come on up. Janet Chance is a mentor. And has been there every week, except when she's had her own tragedies. And she's just the most wonderful person you ever want to meet in the world. Barb, okay, sure. Okay. Everybody in there? Ms. Castle, you want to join us too? Okay. What's up? Thank you. Next, Barbara Blywise. Give an example of what Barbara did today. One of our community court members is running into problems getting treatment. She's a professional therapist. She offered to do the treatment for nothing, to volunteer. That's the type of people we have that are volunteering. So Barbara, thank you. Could you stay up here, Janet, just form a line? You go down to the end and then we'll get a group picture. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Oh, wait. Mark Shapleski. Mark Shapleski I've known for quite some time. This gentleman has his own story. And again, he's there every time. He's above and beyond. You can't even imagine. I mean, we'd spend a whole time period. Spend a whole, what should line up? We'll start over there. Okay, right in front of everybody. Yeah, don't feel bad and stand in front of these guys. Oh, yeah. And then I know them all. They're good people. They won't mind. Okay, next is Lana Matthew. Lana Matthew not only volunteers as a mentor, but she runs a group called New Connections. She does our risk needs assessments, and is just a godsend. So. Next is Andrew Trindle of Valley Cities. I'm going to have all the Valley Cities people come up, that Kimberly Howell Bishop, and then I missed somebody, and I'm feeling bad about that. Marta Williams. Why don't you all come up? Valley Cities, when we... Valley Cities, when anybody else from Valley Cities come up, I'll get you a certificate. But Valley Cities, I think within a half hour of us sending out an email, oh, you come on up, Valley Cities. Come on up. You too, come on. Within less than, I can't remember how, but it was a very short period of time of us sending out an email. Valley Cities was there to volunteer without a grant, without city funds, without any kind of funding, to be there every week in court, to be the care coordinator for this case. So we're blessed to have Valley Cities in this community and blessed to have them part of our community court. Yeah, stay up. We're gonna get a group picture too. Okay, There's a group in this community that's been around a long, long time, and he's here as a nanny today, the president of the group, and it's Federal Way Community Caregivers Network. We're recognizing the organization today, but Jack Dovey, our former mayor, is the president. And what they did is they provided us, our defendants, with bus passes. So if there's transportation issues, they provided the bus passes that we give to people so they can make it to court and to treatment and everything else. Okay, there's going to be two people, and one of them's not here today, but Shelley Pauls, make your way up. The other person is named Allison Pring. And Janie, could you stand? Because it's okay. We already cleared this. Janie is 11 years old. You can stay right there. No, actually, come up, because you're important. Told you I screwed things up. But anyway, so Heather Gallagher, our graduate today, was very concerned about the environment her daughter was in. And she had extended family in Dallas. Dallas or Houston? Dallas? Houston. In Houston. And Heather wanted her out of the environment. They were living in their car. There was all kinds of issues. And Shelley and Allison took a all-nighter, red-eye, to escort Janie to Houston. And Shelley, I think, took the trip back with Janie so that she had proper escort and everything else to and from. And so that's the type of things that a community court can do. People in the community doing things that are just extra special. So Janie, Heather too. Yeah. Thank you. And then why don't we get a group picture of everybody with their certificates? Why don't we wait till the end? Have a seat, everybody. We're running a little bit behind. So we have go ahead and have a seat. We're going to do the picture at the end. Yeah. So I appreciate it. We have other community court participants here, and they're free to stand if they wish, and free not to stand if they don't want to. But there was alluded to the fact that one of our graduates isn't here. One of the things we're struggling with is even though they've done significant things, there's still a stigma. And whether that's why they're not here or not, I don't know. One of the persons was very concerned. One of the persons is not graduate, very concerned about the stigma that goes with her prior conduct. And the thing that this does, and you'll hear from Ms. Gallagher eventually, is it puts people back in a position where they can join us in a productive way in society and not be visiting the courts, and there's much to be proud of. And we have to figure out a way to overcome that hurdle, but I think that what we're witnessing is significant. Even though it's one person that's here today, this is a milestone, and that we want to be able to recognize. And speaking of milestones, one of the milestones, one of the things I was going to give to all three of you today, Heather, why don't you come up? It's a gift from myself, and basically I've used these sayings, and one is the 3 simple rules. These are all Lou Holtz, so you can tell I'm a Lou Holtz fan. 3 simple rules: do what's right, do the best you can, treat others as you want, the way you want to be treated, and then also the Builder poem. So what that is I call it a life well lived, and so you are doing this, and I thought I'd give this to you as a token of my appreciation. Now, Brighty Clevenger is the person that was going to achieve the milestone. This is a person that has had so many things. We just saw her last week, and she had curveball after curveball thrown at her recently. And she was really feeling, why me? But the thing that I hope the lawyer saw too is when I asked her, but how did you react? How did you react to that? She didn't go back to drugs. She didn't go back to crime. She handled it. And so she saw the gem in what happened in her life, the change that it made. But she said she didn't want to come because she didn't feel that she was worth it. And so that's something that's an area we really need to work on, is getting people to understand that once they change their lives, that there's much to be proud of. In a lot of ways, more to be proud of than the rest of us that had it easier. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Heather Gallagher, who's going to make some remarks, and then we'll go through with the graduation. So Heather.
Hi. Sorry. First of all, I'd like to thank each and everybody that's been involved in my case. Karama, you're amazing. You are amazing. To have you as a friend afterwards would be awesome for me. And I hope that you accept that invitation, because you're an awesome lady. I appreciate how far you've brought me. I brought myself, but with your help. The prosecutor. I've never known too many people that have opened up the way you have with me, being a prosecutor. Miss Castleton, you're an awesome lady as well. I'm blessed to have you as a prosecutor.
I didn't think you'd ever hear that.
I know. But if it wasn't for tough love, or tough, whatever you want to call that, we've grown to love each other. I can say that because I've grown to love all of you. That without you, I wouldn't be where I'm here right now. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Janet, my peer. This lady is amazing. She has stood beside me. She's answered the phone at God hours of the night when I'm just upset and just needed somebody to talk to. She's always been there. And I want to let you know that I thank you for that. That you've been you have my utmost respect. Period. If there's anything at all that I can do to help you or be a part of with you, I am there. I stand by your side 100%, and I pray to God that even though I fired you as my peer, that we could be friends afterwards. Lana, you're through New Connections. I want to thank you for bringing me to the point with my driving and my helping me with all of that through New Connections. You guys helped me so much with learning about others that are in my situation, and also that it brought the best out of me coming to your office and being a part of your life. And I appreciate you letting me be a part of yours. And there's going to be more to come. There is. Shelley Pauls. I need to personally thank you for taking my daughter. And then afterwards you could have just laughed and said, okay, you're home. But you didn't. You came through. You checked in on us, and we've become like sisters. Sisters in Christ, and sisters. I want to thank you for doing me that favor, for allowing my daughter to become a part of your life, and doing far beyond for her. It's brought a lot out of her, and I thank you for that. You're an awesome lady Thank you so much. I came from living in my car to living in a tent to not having a job to being on drugs to any and everything you could think of. I've done it. Community court has brought so much life to me, to have the support, the people that truly care and open their hearts and their minds and their souls to me and my family. We are now living in a house. We now have 2 cars. We now have things that are available to us. And I know that I have the ability to look things up and not fall back, to find the proper means to better myself as a person, not to fall back towards the people of my past or the whatever, to find the good in people, and also to serve the community where I may have thought at the time that people let me down. I don't want to let them down. They deserve a chance. If they don't want it, that's on them. But I'm here to help myself. And if I could help somebody else just as these people have helped me, then who am I to keep that from anybody? I want to thank the judge. Judge Larson, I know you don't like us using your name, but in this case I'm going to. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to have a judge like you come and sit in front of me, shake my hand, look me in the eye, and give me the light of hope. That hope is what guided me to become better. I could not let you down. I couldn't do it. Not after shaking your hand and you giving me that letter that you wrote, or that you wrote for the papers or whatever, about how you grew up and where you came from, and that touched me. You didn't have to do that, but you did. And you're like, you know what? This is life. We got to hit it head on, and we got to do right by ourselves. And you did that. And the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I can't help it, you know? That was awesome. But again, me and the 2 other people that were here, supposed to be graduating, I can only tell them that this is an awesome experience. They should never, ever feel bad about how far they've come. That I accept this on their behalf as well, because they're awesome and amazing people that have come a long way in their life, that deserve to feel good about themselves. I may be the only one up here, but there's 2 other souls that deserve to be here as well.
Yeah, there's somebody who wanted to say something also. Janie? Janie asked to say something. Janie, come on up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
She wants to be a judge, so.
I'm Janie Ashley Terry Jiggets, daughter of Heather Renee Gallagher. Mostly my gut would tighten at the thought of talking in front of a huge, well, not huge, but a crowd. But today I felt a calmness when Judge Larson asked me to say if I wanted to say something for my mom. I am proud of everyone who is graduating today, and my mom as well, because she's grown, and I'm thanking everyone who's helped her grow. And I look back at where we were before, and I'm thinking to myself, if there's no words to explain it, it's just, I always had hope for my mom back then that there would be people to help her thrive, to help her grow, you know. And I'm just happy. I'm really happy that my mom's graduating today. I love you, Mom, and I always will. And I'm so proud of
So before we give the diploma, Heather has done some amazing things. And again, the impact she's had on the lawyers and the rest of us too. One of the things that we didn't think of that she did was inviting the victim of her theft that got her into court to come to graduation. She doesn't know it, but Carol Lorton from Macy's is here. Carol, she's here. So she wanted to close that loop. We didn't think of it. She did. And so with that, it's very much joyful. First of all, what we're going to do is have Ms. Castle come forward as the prosecutor and present something to you very formally.
This is the order of dismissal. That means that your theft case here is dismissed with prejudice and will not be refiled because you did everything that you were supposed to do with our agreement.
Thank you.
And it's with great joy also we present you with a certificate of completion of community court. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have you go, and everybody on this row is going to congratulate you, and anybody else in the audience will be able to too. So what I'm going to do is have you go down, and Janie, you can join your mother. And these are elected officials and police and people in our community that want to be able to recognize your good work. And while that's happening, ladies and gentlemen, this program was started with zero taxpayer dollars. I take that back. The cost of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, apples, and cookies every week as the incentive and reward for people showing up. What this represents is, in the traditional system, the punitive system, we sentence people to go get treatment, to do all the things Ms. Gallagher did, and we say, go figure it out, and if you don't figure it out, we're going to put you in jail. Right? We don't line things up. The thing that this did was we were very intentional about making sure that the opportunities for the person, if they're ready for change, are there. So it was a change of attitude and a change of approach, and that's free. And that's why you're seeing what you're seeing today. Again, there would have been 2 other people here today that would have been honored. We started small. The fact that we don't have taxpayer dollars to do this means that we have to start small. Things may change in the future, but bottom line is this is, you can see the end result right here of an attempt to meet people where they are, to treat people with dignity and respect. Like I've always said, sometimes, most of the time, the people that need it the most deserve it the least. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that people have an opportunity to grow within themselves, to find their esteem, to find the vision that they can have for their lives, where they can themselves empower themselves to break addiction, to be employed, to be in stable housing, to do all the things that we take for granted a lot of times. And Miss Gallagher has spent a lot of time thanking the people that did this. The number one person she should thank is herself, because she did it. We were just here saying, hey, why don't we work together, okay, instead of being at odds. The magic of dignity and respect is so significant, and she's emblematic of that, and it's happening every day in our court. We have defendants, and I won't embarrass anybody, that look forward to coming to our court. Now, that contrasts to one time when a defendant was looking really nervous, and I said, well, at least you're not at the dentist. And he said, I'd rather be at the dentist. But the bottom line is this is a symbol of a lot of things we can do in our own society, in the broader society too. When we give each other the benefit of the doubt, when we give each other support, when we give each other opportunities to be better people, people take advantage of it. And when they don't, that's on them. I'll never be a grouchy old judge because I won't take the blame when somebody fails, but that means I can't take the credit either. And even though Heather acknowledged that I don't like my name being mentioned, I'm more than happy to have been involved in any small way to help you decide for yourself that you're going to have a better life for you and your daughter. And number one thing you need to be proud of is you have a great daughter. She's 11 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? 11 years old, and you're going to be a judge. I let her sit on the bench one day, let her wear the robe. You're going to be a judge. Okay? You got to be a lawyer first, though. Okay? So thank you very much, and it's very much appreciated. And there's going to be more of these. And this is our first. And the fact is that I'll end by telling one story and I've used this in the past. It's the Starfish Story. You might have heard it. Okay, if you haven't heard it, then hopefully it enriches you. There's a young man walking down the beach, picking up starfish and throwing them back in the water. An old man comes up and says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, the sun's coming out, and these starfish are going to die unless I put them back in the water." And the old man looks around and says, "There's thousands of them. How can you possibly make a difference?" And the little boy says, "It'll make a difference to this one." And that's what we did in this, and that it'll make a difference to this one. And that's what we're going to do it, one person at a time. But it takes the will and desire, and that's where all the credit goes, right there. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.